and I must welcome everybody. This session started off as a small session, which was just meant for a small team, but it blew up to an East Africa session. So I want to welcome everybody from East Africa who has come on this call, whether it's Uganda, Tanzania. I know there are people all there from Abu Dhabi, Dubai and the like, UK, US, Canada. And we are here to discuss a very, very important topic that is affecting all of us. And I know everybody on this call has either been affected or been close to somebody who has been affected by the topic that you're going to talk about today. That is COVID-19. And personally, I was also affected, and I've been affected a couple of times. In December, I lost two very close friends of mine to COVID, and that was very, very painful. And I would say largely, yes, they passed on, but largely it's because of lack of knowledge on my part, on the part of the guys themselves and the family around the people that were infected. If they had the right knowledge and they took the right measures, maybe, who knows, maybe they would still be alive today. And recently, one of my directors also lost a very close auntie to her, who was like her mother. And also another director in my team lost somebody. I got somebody in my team who was infected with COVID. Actually, a couple of people were infected with COVID. So it's something that now I started thinking, hey, this thing is getting out of hand. And we just need to get to know what is this thing called COVID-19 and how can we be able to protect ourselves, more importantly. And that's why I thought maybe let me talk to Dr. Fatma Abdalla to come and just give us a talk about COVID-19 and how we can be able to protect ourselves and ensure that we live a long and healthy life. A bit of my background, Fred Gishuki is a hotelier by training who retired into business. I was working in the hotel industry when I was introduced to Neolife International. And I was introduced by a pastor from South Africa who found me working in the hotel, told me there's something to do here. I joined Neolife because of money. I didn't join because of health. I joined because I wanted money. But when I came in, I found there were many other benefits. I found that there was health. My parents were suffering from, my mom was suffering from pressure. My dad was suffering from ulcers. And they used Neolife products and they felt better. So that gave me a lot of confidence. And I started talking to everybody about Neolife and about what Neolife can do for them. And I built a very big business, and before the age of 30, retired into the business to do it on a full-time basis. It's a fantastic business. It has grown me a lot in terms of health, in terms of wealth, in terms of lifestyle. I met people like Dr. Fatma Abdalla. I've learned a lot about nutrition from Dr. Fatma Abdalla. And I know you are going to learn too because you're on this call. I've enjoyed lifestyle. I've been able to travel the world courtesy of Neolife. I've been to America, South Africa so many times. And truly, Neolife is a life-changing opportunity. I got married courtesy of Neolife, story for another day. But most importantly, I got to grow as a person. I became a leader. I became somebody that can stand and say something. And I can tell you, Neolife has a way of transforming your life so that you can be able to make a positive impact in people's lives. Now, without further ado, I just want to get this show on the road. We don't have a very big agenda. We're just going to invite the Daktari to come and talk to us. Dr. Fatma Abdalla is somebody that I've known, I think, for more than 20 years. Let me put it that way. She found me in the business. We've worked together for many, many years. We've done many trainings together. And we've really worked together, achieved so many things together. And today she's here to talk to us about COVID-19. She's a pretty busy lady, and I truly appreciate the fact that she's taken time to be with us here today. to talk to us. And she's going to tell you more about herself, a bit of her background and how she joined in your life, and as she presents her story. So without further ado, if it was a live meeting, I would ask you to clap for Dr. Fatma Abdalla, but since we are on audio, maybe you can just wave and do it like this so that I can see that there's some excitement happening in the house. So join me in welcoming Daktari, Dr. Fatma Abdalla, all the way from Kenya. Daktari, karibu. I hope you can see people are welcoming you on the call. And everybody is waving their hands, they've raised their hands, they're clapping for you and welcoming you on board, just so that you can be able to share your story. So Daktari, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Fred. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you. So you can take it away.
All right. Thank you, Fred, for that introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. May the peace and blessings of God be with all of you. My name is Dr. Fatma Abdalla, as Fred said. I'm a specialist in hematology and blood transfusion, working at Kenyatta National Hospital, and also senior lecturer with the University of Nairobi. The reason that I joined this company is because of my firstborn child, my daughter. She was born with asthma, because asthma is in our family, very severe asthma, such that my grandfather passed away when he was a very young man, and my mother hardly remembers him. So I was concerned about my daughter because she was having a very rough time. So was the rest of our family, both financially, emotionally, psychologically. And so I was always looking for a solution. Of course, she'd already been seen by all the specialists in the country, but no one could cure her. And so finally, when I was invited to a session of this company, and I discovered that the founder of this company used to suffer from asthma, and at the age of 19, he got cured by using supplements. So I decided I was also going to try them on my daughter. And I did that. That was May 1997. And by the end of that year, December, she was actually cured. At that time, she was only 10 years old, but she'd been suffering since birth. And now she's going to be 34 in 2 months' time. She's healthy. She doesn't use any medicine. She doesn't have to use any inhalers. And most of all, she's done things like that many people haven't done. She's been able to climb Mount Kenya right to the top. She's also climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And I really thank God for having brought this supplements in my way. I really, really am very grateful. So today, we are going to discuss COVID or Corona. COVID-19, because it started in 2019 in China, in a city called Wuhan, is also called Corona because the organism is a virus, and that virus has a corona shape. Corona is another word in Latin for circular or round, like the sun. So this started there in September 2019, and gradually and quickly spread to the rest of the world. And so far in the history of this world, this is the only infection that has affected the whole world. Other virus infections have come before, but they've usually only affected certain regions of the world. So WHO declared it a global emergency. Up to now, about 123 million have been known to be affected. And these are the ones that have been tested. But you and I know that many of us walk around and maybe we're infected, but we don't go for testing. We should know that people of all ages can be infected by this virus. But the older people, especially those with pre-existing medical conditions, the chronic diseases, asthma, diabetes, heart disease, and several others, appear to be more vulnerable to become severely ill, and some of whom then also go on to die. So far in the world, we've had almost 3 million deaths, and it hasn't stopped, it's still continuing, as we all know. But the good news is that 99 million have recovered. Would you like to be amongst those 99 million the other 99 million that would recover as we continue counting? If you'd like that, in case you are infected, because you never know where you'll get infected and who will infect you. But wouldn't you want to know that if you are infected, that you can actually recover and that there's a way of helping yourself recover? I hope so. But you don't have to wait for yourself to get infected. You can start protecting or preventing yourself from getting infected. So we move to the next slide. How do you protect yourself? There are two ways of protecting yourself. There's the external protection, the external to your body, I mean, outside you, the environment, and then there's the internal one. So if I start with the external one, all of us know this. You wearing a mask, keeping social distancing, greeting people with feet and elbows and not directly with your hands, avoiding touching your face. We as humans are known to touch our face very many times in an hour. Washing your hands every so often. And you can wash with plain water, which is fine. But better, if you can find a detergent, it's even better because it quickly kills the virus if it happens to be in your hands. If you don't have a detergent to use, then you can use a sanitizer or an antiseptic, because at least that will be better. It will destroy it as well. And while you move around, if you must move around, actually you should try to avoid moving out of your home unless strictly necessary. And if you must go, then avoid touching things and surfaces out there. And if you have touched, you realize after you've touched, maybe you're walking down the stairs, you've touched the staircase rail, then as soon as you can, wash your hands and or use a sanitizer or antiseptic. So now you can use many sanitizers, antiseptics, you can use many detergents to wash your hands. But I'd like to inform you that Neolife as a company has gone out since 1958 to make even detergents 100% organic, so that you don't affect the environment negatively, you don't disturb and injure your hands and your beautiful skin, and even if you are to throw it onto the lawn, onto the grass outside your house, you will not destroy other plants and other animals that live with us in the world. So I'd like to then show you a detergent that this company has made that you can use, called LDC. That means light duty concentrate. Slight challenge here. Okay, there we are. Okay, so the light duty cleaner or light duty concentrate, it's concentrated. So it requires dilution. There it is. And for general washing of hands, in order to be able to kill the coronavirus in your hands or on surfaces, because it's also known to live on surfaces, you would want to wipe, then you can dilute it 1 times 5. That means this is it comes as 1 liter. You can add 5 liters of water. And you can use it for very many different things. I'm not going to go in a lot of detail. The only thing that I'm emphasizing is that it is organic, it is safe for humans, for animals, for plants, and it's also very gentle on your hands and safe for the whole family. It's not the kind of detergent to be worried to have in the house in case you have a toddler crawling around. And it's biodegradable. So you can use that LDC. Okay, so I move to now the next item is that this company also has an antiseptic that you can use in case you don't have water and detergent or the LDC to use, and you're walking around, you can carry it in your handbag or in your laptop bag for the men. You can carry this care. It's an antiseptic that is very, very powerful. You will need to dilute it 10 times. And it comes 1 liter. That means you add 10 liters of water, and then you can put it in a little bottle and carry it around with you, so that in case you're in a place where there's no water or detergent, you can easily just sanitize your hands and continue and not worry whether you've touched surfaces or accidentally touch somebody or something that has the coronavirus sitting on it. That's what we have to realize, that the coronavirus, though it is infected from man to man or from human to human, not only does that happen when we either sneeze or cough, when the droplets of our coughing and sputum get into the air, those droplets have the coronavirus in them, and when somebody breathes them in, that they can get infected. But also when we talk, again, when we talk, you may not know, but we usually, when we talk, especially, and the louder we talk, the more droplets we release into the air. We release tiny droplets, and these droplets also contain the coronavirus in case one is infected. So when the other person who then breathes in these droplets that have come out of your mouth with the saliva will also get infected. So, and then some of these droplets will fall on surfaces, on chairs, on doors, on handles, on anything that is around in the world. As long as those droplets are in the air and the air or the wind has carried them, and then this drop and land on those surfaces, then it's known that the virus remains on those surfaces for quite a while. And different surfaces keep it for different lengths of time. It's been known even up to 39 days or more in some studies have shown that the virus remains alive. So that's why you have to be careful when you touch surfaces, and that's why I mentioned touching surfaces and things, but also why the use of the mask, which must be worn properly, covering both the nose as well as the mouth. If you intend to protect the people around you, whether you know them or not, whether you're just walking in the streets, it doesn't matter. They are fellow human beings. We need to protect each other. If I wear my mask properly, I'm protecting everybody around me. And if those other people wear their mask properly, they are protecting me. So we have to think of each other and love each other as God meant us to, because he put us all in this world to live together. So wearing of the mask then prevents these droplets from going very far. They get stopped by your mask. And therefore, that's why those public health measures must continue and will still continue. So now what about protecting yourself internally? Internally, I mean inside your body. How do you protect yourself or prevent yourself from getting the infection? In case by accidentally you did breathe in one of those droplets from somebody who was infected, or you touched a surface that had a virus and then you immediately touched your mouth or nose and the virus started moving inside your nose and mouth, how do you protect yourself? To protect yourself, you must do two things. You must boost your immune system, and you must protect your respiratory system, because that is the system that's affected by this virus. The virus goes straight into your respiratory system. The respiratory system starts from your nose all the way through your sinuses, down the throat, down the trachea, into the bronchi, and right down into your lungs. That's all of that is your respiratory system, right from the nostrils. And that's why touching your nose and your face is not recommended and to be avoided as much as possible. So in order to prevent yourself right now while you are still healthy, and as you know, you and I, prevention is better than cure, number one. Number two, prevention is cheaper than cure. Because when you can prevent yourself, you can go about your daily life, you can go, continue going to work. As we know, this global emergency pandemic has made a lot of people stop going to work. A lot of people have even been laid off, and some are even on half salaries. So in order to make sure you're still healthy and you can continue going to work and earning for yourself and your family, you need to do this first, prevention. How do you do it? We have 4 or 5 different supplements that you can use. Carotenoid complex, chelated zinc, vitamin C, vitamin E. And if you don't like taking them separately, there is one called BetaGuard, which has a combination of both vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, and in addition, even has vitamin A. So I'm going to go into the details of this now to be able to explain how they are able to prevent you from getting the infection in case you get infected. Briefly, before I go into that, just to let you know that this company has all these doctors and scientists that do research and make sure that every supplement they make, because they decided to use food supplement, that it's 100% food, not a drop of chemical or synthetics in them. And all these scientists are the ones that work for you. And their chairman, Dr. Arthur First, was a Nobel Prize winner. And what they do is they use their scientific knowledge and couple it with nature. So it is nature backed by science. All the supplements that this company make, courtesy of these very highly qualified and respected scientists in the world. So if we go to the first supplement, it's called ProVitality and contains actually 4 different supplements, of which carotenoid complex, which I mentioned, is one of them. Now, it contains threonine, which is a grain concentrate, which helps to feed your cells and enhance your energy levels and your systems. It also contains carotenoid complex that protect your cells and optimize your immunity. I'll go into it in detail in a minute. The third supplement it contains is omega-3 salmon oil plus, which helps to balance and regulate your cells and maximize your good health. And then the fourth supplement it contains is multi, which contains 21 essential vitamins and mineral complexes that nourish your cells and is more than just a multivitamin. So the benefits of this is that, first of all of us with the modern lifestyle that we lead, many of us do not eat a healthy, balanced diet. Yes, we know we are supposed to balance and eat the different foods. We try sometimes, but we don't always achieve that goal. And therefore, we have a lot of deficiencies in our bodies. So this ProVitality fills in those dietary gaps because we eat processed food. We don't take enough fruits and vegetables in our day. We hardly eat fish. Some of us eat fish only once a month, and yet we are supposed to eat more frequently than that. And because our foods are processed, a lot of the vitamins and minerals have been destroyed. Though the food tastes nice in our mouths, but when it finally gets inside your body, it does not give you the necessary vitamins and minerals that your body needs to be able to function efficiently. So what are the key benefits? The key benefits are, from the carotenoid complex, it's a powerful antioxidant protection. So it even protects you, that carotenoid complex protects you from the pollution in the air that we breathe, in the water that we drink. It makes sure that you have a healthy heart, and your immunity is at optimum strength, so that any organism entering your body will be quickly destroyed, even without you realizing and without you knowing and having some complaints. It improves your brain and makes sure your brain functions healthily. It allows you to have flexible, healthy joints and improves your vision. It gives you youthful skin, hair and nails, and gives you lifelong cellular health. I'm saying that slowly, lifelong cellular health, because that is what helps even prevent the chronic diseases that I mentioned that are making those who get infected with coronavirus more susceptible to becoming seriously ill and being admitted into hospital and getting into ICU and being put on full machine support. So the carotenoid complex is really what is the main thing in here, but these other supplements fill in your dietary gaps so that you have optimal health. So I continue to the next supplement that I mentioned, which is zinc. Many of you have heard this even in the news and on television being mentioned, how useful zinc is for the corona infection. And why? Because it's important for normal growth and development, and improves your immune function and makes your body be able to repair its cells when they're injured. You see, the coronavirus, for it to be killed by your immune system when it enters your body, some of the immune cells have to die as they try to kill this virus. So when those cells have died, they need to be replaced. And that's why zinc becomes very, very important. It has many other functions in the body that also help you, especially activation of vitamins, which I'm going to talk about next. And therefore becomes very, very essential for us. So we move next. I'll skip this because of time, but just know when we the zinc in the company is called chelated zinc because it has been linked or it has been touched with and sort of linked enzymatically with amino acids, the amino acid methionine, so as to improve its absorption in the body. Otherwise, without the amino acid, its absorption would be very minimal, less than 10%, which we do get it in our bodies when we eat normal food, but very little is absorbed because of it not being paired with amino acids. So I will not repeat the rest. I just want to continue to the next vitamin. So zinc helps to improve the absorption and utilization of these vitamins. Vitamin C, very important for prevention. And the vitamin C's in this company come in two types: the sustained release type vitamin C, which is made of 8 oranges per tablet, or level 1,
I want 11
oranges tablets. So everything in the orange has been put into it except the water. What does it do? It protects the lining of the respiratory system. I talked about the respiratory system, and this is the main area of attack by the coronavirus. And it also boosts the production of antibodies to help fight the infections, including the corona infection. So vitamin C becomes very, very essential. I move to the next one, vitamin E. Vitamin E becomes very critical in two ways. One is an antioxidant, supporting heart, brain, and many other organ functions. But more importantly for our discussion today, the immune function. Again, here we come, the immune function. And It delivers all the 8 forms of vitamin E, the one from Neolife, for a broad spectrum protection, both the 4 tocopherols and the 4 tocotrienols. It's made from whole food. As I mentioned before, the supplements are made from whole food. So then I said, if somebody doesn't want to take those vitamins individually, you have an alternative of BetaGuard that contains all the 3 vitamins that I've just mentioned, including zinc. So it has zinc, it has vitamin E, it has vitamin C. It also has additional vitamin B and vitamin A, all of whom are very important for the immune system. So let's imagine that maybe you did try to protect yourself and prevent yourself from getting infected, but unfortunately you did get infected. What do you do next? What you do next is you continue with those supplements that I already mentioned, but you add others. Why? Because now it's really survival for the fittest. You have to fight and win. You cannot afford to fight and lose. You cannot afford to let this virus win. Not only that, for those who've recovered, actually they tell you, you do not even want to be able to feel the infection for 2-3 days before it goes away. It's a horrible feeling. For those who've survived, they describe it like that, and they describe it in very many different words. So you really have to now call upon all the armamentarium that you can in order to get rid of this virus. The sooner the better, before you fall sick and your oxygen levels drop down and you need to be admitted in hospital, God forbid. So you're going to add now vitamin A and D. You're going to add these 6 supplements: vitamin A and D, garlic allium complex, aloe vera plus, flavonoid complex, herbal respiratory complex, and botanical balance. So I'm going to go into each of them very briefly and explain the role. Now, for garlic, I start with garlic. It has a targeted delivery so that when you swallow it, many people avoid garlic because they don't like their breath smelling of garlic. But the garlic made by Neolife does not open up in your mouth. It waits until it is right inside your intestine to open up, and that's where it's required to open up, where it can be quickly absorbed and go and to be able to go into your cells and help you fight infection. So what does garlic do? It stimulates the immune function. Again, you think, because if the virus managed to get into your body, that means your immune function wasn't quite optimal. So it stimulates it and boosts it further up so that you can fight this virus. It is nature's antibiotic. Many people in the world have used it for such, and it's known for that. So it helps fight infections. In addition, garlic allium makes your blood thinner. It thins your blood. Now, a lot of research, especially including the postmortems that have been done in Italy on people who've died of corona, have shown that what contributes to death, especially the sudden death that comes, is it seems that inside the body, the blood begins to clot on its own, and the clotting especially affects the lungs. And therefore, when the blood has clotted in the lung, even if you try to breathe in, even if you've been put on a machine with 100% oxygen, the oxygen cannot be carried by the blood from the lungs to the rest of your body because the blood in your lungs has clotted. And garlic allium has that additional benefit of preventing blood clotting and making your blood liquid enough so that the corona virus does not make it clot and stop it from moving around. Because once blood has clotted, it just stays stagnant in one place and cannot move around from the heart to the lungs and to the rest of the body. So that's the additional benefit of garlic. Then we move to the next one, aloe vera plus. Aloe vera plus is made from many herbs. Aloe vera, including ginseng, as well as chamomile. And all these herbs have been shown to be very beneficial to fight and kill infections in our bodies. so that we are able to get rid of them. And therefore, these are even known as well-being hubs, both well-being in the physical sense as well as the mental and psychological sense. And therefore, this then helps. They are especially becomes an additional natural antibiotic to continue killing the coronavirus inside our body. We then moved to the next supplement, flavonoid complex. It's made from some of the brown, purple, pink, and green fruits and vegetables that we don't take a lot of, as well as green tea for our benefits. And what it does is that it supports the capillary strength, promoting cellular well-being and normal tissue growth throughout the body. It promotes the inflammatory balance within the body. Now, the inflammatory balance, I want to spend a minute on this. Part of the reason that leads to death also is the inflammatory burst that happens several days before somebody dies from corona, and the body is unable to control this, and hence the person's health deteriorating very quickly. So this is what flavonoid does. In addition, it also protects the respiratory system from infections and boosts the immune system in that area. The next product I'd like to talk about, again, this is another herbal product made of 9 different herbs, which promote, it's called, herbal respiratory formula, which promotes a clear, quiet breathing with clear bronchial lining and reduce congestion. Those are the things that one needs when one is having corona infection, because usually the lung is congested. There are lots of mucus that is stuck in the breathing tubes and air pipes. There's a lot of congestion. The breathing is very labored and heavy. And therefore, it helps to do the opposite and improve all those difficulties, as well as supporting regular and unrestricted bronchial and pulmonary airflow. That becomes the most important thing, you see, because the most important function that our lungs do is to make sure we take in oxygen, and this oxygen is carried by our blood back to the heart and round to the rest of the body, and again back to the lungs for the carbon dioxide to be thrown out by the lungs. So that's the main function of the lungs, and therefore when it is being compromised by corona, then all these functions that it's supposed to do in order to keep your body alive, because without oxygen we cannot live. Not just us as human beings, even animals and plants all need oxygen, and this oxygen has to go right to our cells. It has to get into our bodies and go to our cells where it can be used. So the herbal respiratory formula then helps to the person who is infected to be able to clear the airways and make sure that the oxygen levels do not fall below 90%, because that becomes critical when they start falling below 90%. And therefore, this is the benefits of herbal respiratory. And I move then to the last supplement that I wanted to talk about. This is called Botanical Balance. It has very many benefits, especially for those with diabetes. I mentioned diabetes as being one of the predisposing factors that when people who get corona and have diabetes, many of them have been known to pass away because of the diabetes not helping them. Why? Because when you have diabetes, the glucose is not being optimally used. Neither is the insulin sensitivity optimal. And the receptor functions are not well balanced. But more importantly, when somebody has diabetes, their immune system is also negatively affected. If any of you know people with diabetes, you know they get infected. And once they get infected, their wounds don't heal well. They actually don't heal. Many of them don't heal at all. And some of them are forced to get that part of the body cut, whether it's a finger, a toe. And we've known several who've had legs, not just one leg or even both legs cut off just because of this. So a botanical balance, by helping to balance the glucose metabolism, it also helps to improve the immune system. And some of the ingredients that it contains, the turmeric is another natural antibiotic, and the other ingredient that it contains, the cinnamon, is also a very important hub for the respiratory system to be able to have an optimally functioning respiratory system. And that's why the botanical balance becomes very useful. And with that, I would like to stop here because Fred, I can hand over back to Fred. He requested we maybe give time for maybe a few very urgent and burning questions. Thank you, Fred.
Okay, Dr. Thank you so much for that session. It was very well done, very clear, very precise. I think now I see the lecturer side of you. You've done it very, very well. So,
Thank you.
We want to take one or two questions. If there's anybody with a very burning question that they would like to ask. I know many of us have been invited by somebody in your life, and there's a channel. If in case you have any, if you're not able to answer your question, you can always talk to the person who invited you. If they're not able to answer the question, they'll probably talk to the upline, and somewhere along the way, the question might get to Dr. Fatma Abdalla, and she'll be able to answer. But in case there's somebody with a very burning question, maybe you can just put it on the chat, and maybe we can be able to answer. If you have any burning question, just put it on the chat. But as you do that, I just want to mention to everybody, I know we have guests on this call, people who are not members of Neolife, who are just looking in. We have customers. For the guests who are here for the first time, this is a very, very exciting business that you can pursue. It's a side hustle. Started off for me as a side hustle, and it became my full-time business. So whether you're employed, whether you have a business, this is something that you can decide to do part-time. And after today's session, you have a choice. You can either get these products directly from the person who invited you as a customer, or you can decide to become a member of Neolife and start shopping for yourself directly. And the benefits of joining are that you buy at wholesale. Even before we talk about money, you buy at wholesale, which means if you want to sell, you can sell at retail, but more importantly, you're able to save on your own domestic budget. Registering with Neolife costs different prices for different countries. I know we have several countries on the call, but it's actually less than $100. So it's not something very expensive, and you get some free products which you can start using immediately and enjoying. And you can start doing your own shopping. Like Dr. has shared, the COVID-19 situation, it's a journey. You don't get healed immediately. So it's something that you'll need to continue using the products, and even other conditions that we encounter along the way, cancer and all these lifestyle conditions. So it makes more sense to be a member and start buying for yourself rather than buying from somebody else. But if that is not your cake, then just buy from the person who invited you. They'll be able to supply you the products. Now, in the interest of time, let me see if there's any.
There are a few questions on the chat.
Yes,
Fred.
maybe you can take a
If
few.
I can answer them.
Yes.
Yeah, I've already seen a few. Okay, very quickly, somebody has asked how many milligrams of vitamin C. The chewable one has 206 milligrams of vitamin C, and while the sustained release one has 500 milligrams of vitamin C per tablet. The other question that somebody has asked is somebody who has turned positive and would like not to take all of them, what should they take? I would recommend, if you want to take only one supplement, then take the Beta Guard, because I explained it has both vitamin A, B, C, E, and zinc. So at least you've got yourself covered with all those. Then somebody also has asked if the detergent LDC that I discussed, whether it can be used to wash utensils. Definitely, it is multi-purpose. Use it to wash utensils, and many other things. The person who's invited you can tell you more, especially as you said, if you are sharing utensils in the house. Once you've used that LDC to wash your utensils, you are not worried that the coronavirus is still sitting on the spoon or on the fork and knife. You become comfortable that you have destroyed it. It has been destroyed by that detergent. And then somebody else has asked, how do we manage if we have somebody who is positive in the home? One person is positive and the others are not. They need to isolate themselves as much as possible. If they can stick to one room and stay there at least until they're able to recover, and they don't move around, and their food is given to them and put so that they don't come out to get it. Whatever they need is delivered to them at the door, and they take it. And whoever's delivering makes sure they wash before and after whatever they touch that has come from the room. If they must go into the room to help them, they should use of course, the mask, gloves, and if they can put on some disposable gown that they can put it on, then go in and help. And once they're finished with it, all of that must be discarded, not to be reused. Every time they go in and come out, those what we call personal protective equipment must be discarded. And it's possible to nurse somebody with that while they remain inside, and only one person if they must go in to deal with them and to assist them until they're able to recover. But meanwhile, they should be given as much support as possible and be given the supplements that I talked about, so that they can the body can fight this infection and they can recover, and the rest of the family doesn't have to get infected. Those are the few questions that I saw on the chat that I've tried to answer. I don't know how we are doing for time, Fred.
Yeah, we're just about to finish. We have like 2 minutes. So guys, thank you so much for everybody who attended on this call. Thank you so much, Daktari, for the session. It was awesome. It was totally awesome. Personally, I've learned a lot, and I've seen on the chat, people have really learned a lot. It has been totally worth it, and we truly appreciate. There are some people asking about the recording. Yes, the recording will be out, hopefully maybe later today or tomorrow, and I will be able to circulate it so that you can be able to get it. The person who invited you will actually facilitate for you to get the recording so that you can be able to go through it and learn a little bit more if it's something that you missed. But as we finish, maybe Daktari, a final word?
A final word is, yes, we've got the vaccine that has come, but in spite of the vaccine, it's not like other vaccinations where when you get vaccinated, you are completely immunized and you're completely protected. The vaccines that we have now are to just help minimize the seriousness of the infection. What does that mean? It means that we must continue trying to prevent ourselves using supplements and filling up our dietary gaps. We must continue the public health measures of using masks, of social distancing, and not touching surfaces, not touching our hands. All that has to continue even after vaccination. The purpose of the vaccination is actually to try and reduce and get rid of the virus from our environment. At least try to reduce it to a minimum level. But before that happens, and that will take a while, before that can happen, we must continue with all the public health measures and trying to restrict our movements and protecting both ourselves as well as those around us, whether we know them or not. Let us be each other's keepers. That's my last word. And thank you very much. And I wish you all the best. And we pray that God also helps us in this protection. As we play our part, we also ask for God's protection from this global emergency so that we may all survive and we can continue with our normal life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. And there we leave it. We leave it in the hands of God. Let us play our part and God will do the rest. Thank you everybody for coming on this call. Thank you for participating. I wish you all the best. I pray that nobody gets infected, but if it happens, at least now we know how to take care of it, how to protect ourselves. And there's something that we can do to fight back. We don't just take it lying down and do it together. We can do it. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a blessed afternoon, and we'll see you again. Thank you and bye.
Bye.
You're finished. Look. Look.